everyone. Hopefully, everything is now up and running well. And yeah, I mean, if it's not working, then I might just have to go. But hopefully, that's not the case, and I can continue. It's not what I want. And I can continue to stream. Just checking on OBS and everything. Hopefully it's working just fine. Okay, well, hopefully this is okay. So, back to our analysis here. So, this should say restricts. Okay, now it's taking a while to type. Hopefully it should be working now. Okay, 94. Talk about just centralizing the knight, threatening a fork. So yeah, in general, good move. Bishop e7, rook h to f1, knight to d5. Obviously, these are all logical moves. I mean, I guess we could talk about bishop e7. I'll say rerouting bishop to a more useful diagonal. Yeah, simply put, I mean, this wasn't really doing anything anymore now that this knight is moved. I don't know, I think Grishuk just wanted to possibly, well, not only keep an eye on knight f6, but also, control a lot of the weak dark squares, which f6 is one of. So it's all in all a sensible move. Let me just check YouTube again. Sorry if I'm not actually talking as much as I usually am, because, this is... the technology isn't... Sorry. Technology isn't going as well as usual. Although, is it ever going well? I mean, let's be honest. Streaming is just too hard when you don't have, like, the newest PC or computer. Okay, so 95, knight c5, takes, and b6. Just kicking the bishop. Bishop d4, going back to this useful diagonal. a5, kind of with the idea of a4 to really put pressure on the king. a4 could definitely be a consideration here. I'm not sure how good it is, since it takes multiple moves to actually take advantage of that. So maybe king b7 and then a4. So king b7 is obviously not possible right away because c4 because of the pin. So if you can imagine that in your head, there would be a pin of the knight to the king, and c4 would just win the knight. So possibly weakening the white king, a future king b7, and a4 will be, I'll just say possible again. Maybe say weakening. Okay, so basically, white king b7 just to prepare rook a8. Rook a8, basically. Okay, so let's kind of speed this up a little since I have a lot of portions I want to go to. King b2, knight e7, g4, bishop d5. Well, really just taking advantage of this and the fact that black certainly wouldn't mind trading here. Black has an optimal pawn structure. You know, it would be bishop versus knight, which is the only thing that favors white. But as often said, the pawn structure kind of dictates the rest of the position. And, you know, also this was in a match format where a draw, you know, they were playing 2-game matches. So basically, a draw with black was a good result for Grischuk. I mean, anyone would want to draw with black, right? Because in a match situation, because technically if you have white, you have a small advantage from move 1, and so if you draw with black, you put yourself in a good position to win with white. Even though obviously obviously winning with white is not at all an easy task, just easier and more likely than winning with black. So okay, knight c6, bishop e3, defending the bishop and blocking up this possibility, the possibility of rook takes f1 and rook takes e2. So bishop e3 is forced. Well, I suppose you could take here. It's also possible. But, as we said earlier, probably white isn't the one that wants to trade the most. c4 is a nice move, trying to create counterplay. King c3, just bringing the king one step closer. h3, takes. Knight f7, bishop f3. I would actually say that's kind of an inaccuracy. not just because of the evaluation bar bobbing down there, but also, I mean, he is closing his own file. His bishop was perfectly fine in position to play like c5 and then some bishop a6, maybe, or bishop d3 to aim at the pawns. So I don't think his bishop was particularly bad. A4 is a nice move. Targeting and, you know, if you take the a4 pawn, which happened in the game, well, I take the c4 pawn, and this is just good for me. Again, your pawn structure is very weak. Your bishop's under attack. So this looks very good for black, but bishop f4. So Badmatsurianov marches on. And if knight takes a3, I'm kind of curious what exactly the idea was here. Possibly like just simply rook a1. I'm gonna show the lines here. d3. Ah, that's nice. Wow, that's a d3. That's a banger. Well, so basically d3 just traps the knight. And this knight can't go anywhere. You're gonna play like king b2 next and win the knight. So that would have been an interesting way for Badmatsurianov to win. But he definitely had to put in much more effort than that. So d3 happened anyway. Knight a5. Bishop h6. It's a funny move, just restricting the rook a little, I suppose. Let me turn the lines off. So d6, maybe weakening some light squares. I'm not exactly loving black's light squares. So okay, d4, d5, d5. H1 to A8 diagonal, but also and obviously endgames, I've used a lot of the same words like target and targeting a lot because, you know, honestly, endgames are always about ganging up on pawns, and I would say that's very important. But yeah, I think that's a crucial part of endgames, and you have to understand that every pawn move creates a weakness. A former coach of mine told me that, and I think it kind of always rings true in every game. But since we're kind of low on time, about 40 minutes into the video, I think we should move on, and I'll finish the analysis later. You can look at the game yourself. I'll be putting out the blog soon. So, without further ado, I'm going to end the game analysis portion, and we are going to be moving on to daily/vote chess. And yeah. So for daily, I don't have any daily moves right now, but I will be going into the vote chess games I'm in. So first, the Washington Wasps against the Moscow Wizards. The Washington Wasps is the Pro Chess League team, which I'm part of the management of, and here we're in a pretty hopeless endgame. I guess we're going to need to hope for wrong color corner. So basically, this is a light square bishop, and if they are left with only a light square bishop and a dark colored pawn, they can't win if our king is close enough, because basically we just stay there and they cannot promote their pawn because their bishop cannot attack the promotion square. It's a little complicated. But there are a lot of endgame books that say this, and it's a very common method. Honestly, we can't really do anything to trade off the H-pawn right away. So what we would need to do is probably just kind of sit here by King G2. I don't think it would be worthwhile to resign right away, since it's not over yet. We could definitely still draw this. In vote chess, usually people don't play the most ideal moves often because they just because technically the average rating of a team is often like 1200, and a lot of people just automatically see a position and they're like, oh, well, I'm just gonna, play the most logical looking move at first sight and don't really go into the complicated truth of the position. So that's a little rant about vote chess, basically. Okay, this game probably looks like just a draw, I think. B3 would be a good move just to stop any from them playing B3, although I'm not sure they would actually want to do that. But just in case, B3 and like knight C2 appear on the board, it just looks like, well, with B3 maybe we're allowing them to play A4. Although if we just take, we are kind of threatening to promote that pawn. So here's what I was my idea. If we play like a random move, they could go here. Maybe we would just want to take that, because the problem is if we play A3, they could play knight C2, and if we take that, well, we can't take that because then they would promote. And if otherwise, they might have some tricks from this position. If we, I don't know, play a random move here, let's say. Well, I don't know. It just looked kind of dangerous. But maybe that wouldn't be the end of the world. I just want to stop any possible, sacrifices or something, where they could, sack the knight for these two pawns. But yeah, that doesn't look possible. So I think B3 is just an easy move. I don't know if we really want to play F3, because we're weakening all of our dark squares. At some point we'll be forced to make a kind of random move, and we don't really want the king to be able to enter when we do that, whereas now when we have to play a random move, we can just play king h3, and if king f4, well, they're blocked from going any further. That's the good news. So yeah, that's that vote chess game, and let's move on to our third one. Oh, sorry. Oh no, I just realized I don't have the tab open with the games. So sorry about that. Oops. Okay, well, disregard everything I just said. Okay, that's not what I wanted to happen. Alright, so let's look at this game. We can't take the d2 pawn because of rook g1 checkmate. So maybe we want to play, well, I guess, what if we play bishop b7? Nah, I guess they're too fast because they're going to play rook e8, rook e1, and win. But I guess if rook e8, then we can take the d2 pawn. So let me just show that in the analysis. And now they aren't threatening mate and 1 anymore. And now we're actually kind of okay. So I would say that seems about right. And their pieces are kind of stuck, so maybe we can just munch up a couple pawns. 3 votes for h3. I guess that's just creating love for the king, so then we can take the pawn next. Okay, that also makes sense. I mean, in vote chess, obviously people are gonna have different opinions. So, yeah. Alright, Mumbai versus Norway. This one's a little tougher. We're kind of in a spot of trouble here. Well, sort of. They are up a pawn. Those tricky gnomes. I mean, EF4, GF4, kind of the same thing. They're probably just going to take back either way. But this looks ever so slightly safer. And let's check. I see we have some messages in the negotiation thread of one of my league matches, so I'm just going to check on that quickly. Check on them quickly tonight. Anyway, I'll check on this and figure out exactly what's going on later, but I see some messages in another vote chess match between Poland and Washington. B6, B5. B6. I guess. Yeah, that seems okay. I mean, I don't really like our position here. This London endgame didn't go so well. Okay, so that wraps up, that just about wraps up our daily / vote chess portion of the show. So, thanks for watching that portion, and now we're moving on to the Pro Chess League update, and you can see the updated bar right next to me that now shows the Pro Chess League update as first. So I have some kind of Pro Chess League insider and outsider information that you may already know or want to know, but basically the Pro Chess League is very important. It's a league with 32 teams that happens every year, with the likes of Carlsen, Caruana, So, on. All these players have played before in the Pro Chess League, so very stacked. Mamedyarov, Nakamura, and so the Pro Chess League, the qualifiers are coming up. If you didn't know, they postponed the qualifiers for about a month. So basically, the qualifier was supposed to happen on September 28th, I believe, so a few days ago. But instead, it will be happening in about at least a month, I think they said. So who knows? But make sure to voice your sound support for the Washington Wasps. So yeah, and then we have a lot of teams that may or may not do well in the qualifier, but we have both returning teams like the San Diego Surfers. You can see their logo here. And the Barcelona Raptors were narrowly eliminated last season, narrowly relegated. So they're playing in another qualifier to make their way back into the league. And so yeah, Barcelona is going to be another kind of team hoping to go that extra step. And actually, before I continue, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, so I'll be right back, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. So yeah, the Raptors are a team hoping to get into the league again, and we also have some new teams. Oops, that's not what I meant to show. We also have some new teams like the Sao Paulo Capybaras, right out of Brazil, with several talented players like Sandro Morocco, possibly Alireza Firouzja. It's not confirmed that he will be playing for them, although he played for them in the summer series. He may be playing for a French team since he moved to France recently. So I can't confirm that he'll be playing for Sao Paulo in the qualifier, but still pretty likely. We also have the Poland Pierogies, featuring the top two Polish players, Jan Krzysztof Duda and Radoslaw Wojtaszek. So that's definitely one of the stronger teams that will be hoping to qualify. And we also look forward to seeing a lot of strong players in the qualifier, or potentially in the qualifier, including one of the other teams that is participating in the qualifier is the Chennai Cheetahs. And they have netted some of India's top players. I think the stat was that they have 4 of India's top 5 players, all of them except the Indian number 1, Viswanathan Anand, who isn't participating in the league, although he did previously. So they have India's number 2, Pentalhar Krishna, India's number 3, Vidit Santosh Gujarati. So they're a very stacked team, another team I expect to qualify. Another player that will be participating, or likely participating in the qualifier, is Lenier Dominguez Perez, the United States number 3. and he is likely to play for the San Diego Surfers. It was announced publicly that he would be playing for them. So that's a big recruitment for the Surfers. Dominguez has played in the league in past years for the Miami Champions and the Las Vegas Desert Rats, and he'll be looking to improve on his performances there and really continue to succeed. He's been playing very well lately, almost won the U.S. Championship, made the World Top 10. So yeah, he'll be hoping to add to that list of achievements with a pro chess league successful season, and maybe even some prize money going to him. So yeah, we also have Jan-Krzysztof Duda, I mentioned earlier, playing for Poland alongside Radoslaw Wojtaszek, his fellow countryman, and Francisco Paco Vallejo played in the qualifier for Barcelona last year, so they're definitely going to be hoping that he plays for them again, and not only that he does well for them and helps them qualify for the league the second time in a row. So, yeah, that's Paco Vallejo. And another kind of juicy piece of gossip is around Jeffrey Zhang, who was so he's another potential recruitment. He played for the Dallas Destiny in the past few seasons, but it's definitely possible that he will be playing for the St. Louis Archbishops next season. St. Louis has grabbed up a lot of the U.S.'s top players, and there was a rumor that they will be also using Zhang in the next season, which would make them, if anything, even more formidable than they already are, which is, insanely formidable. I mean, how else could they be the Pro Chess League champion and the Pro Chess League Summer Series champion? So Zhang would make their team, even better than it already is. So obviously they're always trying to recruit players, the top American players, and since Zhang is rapidly improving, he would be a great person to add to their team. And I could go down the list of recruitments or rumors of recruitments. I am part of the management for the Washington Wasps, so I know a lot of the players we are trying to recruit, and if you are an insider, it won't be a surprise to you. You probably already know that we are currently acquiring the one of the top Cuban players, Lazaro Bruzan Batista, rated around 2650, 2660, very strong, and hopefully will lead our team to victory. Another big mid-season recruitment was Hans Niemann has chosen to switch from the St. Louis Archbishops to the Montclair Sopranos. So yeah, and obviously there's always going to be rumors and possibilities. Some big players potentially up for grabs, like Hikaru Nakamura. His team was relegated, so we'll see who he plays for. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do many more Pro Chess League updates. It's something I know a lot about and I'm very interested in, so I thought it would be perfect to do an update on that. But we will be moving on for now from the Pro Chess League. As much as I love it, we'll be taking a look at actually my upcoming shows. So, without further ado, here they are. So basically, I am going to be doing, a lot of work and coverage, going straight out to you guys over the next year. And first of all, thanks for being here. I've been streaming for now, as hard as it is to believe, about a year actually. And so I've decided to kind of plan out my next year and think about what I will be doing and what I'll be focusing on over the next year. So for one, I'm doing coverage for the Washington Wasps. I did some weekly arenas, live club matches. At some point, I may even cover our actual team playing. I've been mostly covering kind of fan competitions, but the qualifier, as I mentioned earlier, is very soon, and I may be helping to cover that, as well as the actual Pro Chess League if we qualify, but I'll get into that in a second. So yeah, I expect that the whole qualification process will be wrapped up by the end of November, but if not, then that coverage will be extended into December. Just FYI, if we qualify, probably we won't be needing to do any more fan arenas. Same thing if we don't qualify, of course. And so, yeah, if we qualify, I think that I will be continuing to do some form of coverage, but I can't confirm anything, so I didn't put that down as well. But that will also kind of fall under the umbrella of Pro Chess League coverage, which is third on the list here. But before we get to that, I'm going to be covering the third and fourth legs of the FIDE Grand Prix, the Hamburg and Tel Aviv tournaments. The Hamburg tournament is in November. I can actually look up the real dates here real quick just to give you the, all the information you need. So yeah, the third leg of the Grand Prix, the Hamburg tournament, is from November 4th through 8th, and the fourth and final leg of the Grand Prix will be December 10th through 24th. So I'll be covering both those events on my channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. Knockout, players vying for spots in the candidates. You have to be there. And obviously I'm going to be doing daily recaps, even sometimes live coverage, so make sure to check that out. I'm also going to be doing Pro Chess League coverage. Now, this kind of entails a lot of different things. I'm going to be doing kind of weekly peeks into the gossip of the Pro Chess League and, who's being recruited and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll try to do that weekly here, every other week, of what's going on in the Pro Chess League. And I'll also be doing the Pro Chess League fantasy contests. I did a lot of those on stream earlier this year, and I will definitely be doing that again next year. Obviously, I already said this could also mean covering matches live for the Wasps. Who knows? So yeah, I'll get more into that later on when I know more what that's gonna mean for me. But yeah. And so finally on this page, I have another page of shows, since I'm so busy, is the Arena Kings Season 6. I'm going to be launching my Twitch channel starting May 30th. That is a confirmed date, so put that on your calendar. I'll definitely be posting a video with all the details of my Twitch channel, letting you know what will be going on, and that also means I'll be streaming the Arena Kings Season 6. Now, the Arena Kings is a bi-weekly tournament twice a week, not every 2 weeks, twice a week, on chess.com, Mondays and Fridays. It's 3+0, and I'll be playing in a lot of those events, as many as possible, because the exciting thing is it's a prize money event, and they have prizes for lower rated potsers like myself, an under 1800 prize. That'll be probably what I'm going for, but there's also an under 2200 prize, and if I do really well, I may even finish in the top, because the arena format means you're playing players at your level. So I won't actually be paired with, Hikaru. Like, say Hikaru's doing very well. I won't be paired with him. I'll be paired with players, within my rating range. So if I'm just having a really good day, it's definitely possible that I do well. I mean, if I'm having a really good day and I'm playing all Grandmasters, maybe I, draw one game. But, I mean, if I'm having a really good day and I'm playing players about my level, who knows? Maybe I actually get top 3. But obviously the benefit for, Hikaru is that he's kind of by far the highest rated player in the tournament, so he'll really only be playing people lower rated than him. So, it's hard for him not to win, is what I'm saying. But anyway, Arena Kings coverage starting June. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And even more shows. I'm going to be doing more tournament coverage next year. I did the Grand Prix this year, but next year I'm going to be moving on to the Prague Chess Festival in February. That's going to be the first thing on my list, and many more tournaments over the course of the year. I haven't confirmed any yet, but I may be covering the European Championship, the Lindores tournament, which last year saw Magnus Carlsen win, earlier this year. So I have many tournaments I'm considering covering. We'll see what I actually host. But tournament coverage is always a good practice for, aspiring streamers. So if you're also a streamer, I really recommend it. I had a lot of fun doing tournament coverage. And that brings us to this very show, What's New in Chess. I'll be trying to do this just about every week. I know I said that earlier when I did it the first few times, and it's been a little while since then, put it that way. But, now that I'm into school and I have kind of a weekly schedule, I think I'll be able to fit it in. And much more. I mean, who knows what I'll be doing in a year, and that's up to me to decide. We'll see. And you guys can definitely recommend what shows you want to see, what shows you would like me to do. So yeah, that's about it for my upcoming shows list. And yeah, so we're gonna be talking about in other news now, just pretty much just about everything I haven't already mentioned. And the thing I would like to highlight for in other news, this column of in other news, well, for one, I want to talk about the World Fischer Random Championship. The quarterfinals are from October 4th through 6th, so make sure to check that out. I talked about an earlier qualifier when I was doing my game analysis. But this is really, the big guns. We got Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, Jan Nepomniachtchi, Wesley So, Vidit Santosh Gujarati, Ali Reza Firouzja, Vladimir Fedoseyev, and the last qualifier, I believe, is, yes, Peter Svidler. And so, yeah, that's going to be a very interesting event. And then I also wanted to mention the Banter Blitz Cup going on at Chess 24. They have around 130 players playing a marathon knockout tournament, matches almost every day. Yesterday, Magnus Carlsen played a match against Alan Pichot. And, the Banter Blitz Cup is a lot of fun. I really recommend watching the matches. A lot of top players or strong players are playing. Magnus is the only true top player playing, but you have Duda and Navarra and Amin. A lot of players who are 2,700 plus, a lot of strong grandmasters. And the rules of the tournament is everyone has to do commentary on their matches. So you get to hear everyone providing their thoughts. It's very instructive, so I really recommend watching that. But yeah, that's about it for today. Thanks for being here in this surprisingly long, but I hope you found it interesting show. And I kind of just